Hello sports fans and welcome to Planet Zoo Racing Challenges. Today we're at the aquatic arena for a team event, the Deepwater Extreme Diving Challenge. That's 11 teams of elite diving animals battling out in the water today, 4 animals per team, with every animal score contributing to their team score to crown the ultimate diving team.
We've got all varieties of diving animals taking part today, so from penguins to bears to crocodiles, all very different strategies in how they swim and how they deep dive, so hopefully that adds a bit of variety to the racing we see today.
So that's our teams. Let's take a quick look over the track. We're kicking things off at the aquatic arena where our animals face a long swim across the Olympic-sized pool in there. From here they need to deep dive into the access tunnel down here, and that brings them through to the second stage of the race. This is where the animals will navigate through the rainforest swamp, a lot of rocks around here and some distractions they're going to need to avoid. Next up in stage 3 is the frozen biome, and that has more distractions and the added hazard of the snow. Following this is stage 4, the Pine River. Now this is a gentler swim for our smaller animals, so it gives them a chance to catch up. For the larger animals, they're going to have to be careful that they don't get stuck in the mud on the riverbed here. It's not as easy for the bigger ones to navigate. So that's the gist of the course. Let's see if our animals are ready to go. I think our animals are indeed ready, and the crowd is hyped too. Great to see such a big turnout for today's event. Just waiting for the buzzer and we'll be off. There it is. There's some straight off. That's a lot of the bears out of the gate already. One of the Formosans is going for a run. I'm not sure if that's allowed. I mean, I didn't say they couldn't run through this bit, but come on. This one's miles ahead now compared to the others. They are going in the water now though. Let's just see how this plays out. Yep, look at that lead. Although we've got some of the fast swimmers coming into the race now. As predicted, our polar bear is asleep. Wakey wakey. Not a good start for the polars then. Grizzly bear also not taking an interest. Yep, just going to sit there. Oh, wait. That one's having a sleep as well then. Great. The Formosan in front is going for the dive. Got their technique down, but they are kind of slower than some of our other animals in the race today, so don't know how long they're going to have that lead for. Yeah, here we go. Otter coming in at second place. Yep, they're going to take over soon. Look how streamlined that is. And an African penguin coming in at third. This is going to be a very quick overtake by the penguin here. There we go. Yep, a very good takeover. Clean overtake by the penguin there. Lot more of the competitors now coming in behind there, keeping those front runners on their toes. Otter and African penguin starting to make their ascent into the second stage of the course, which is the rainforest swamp. Bit more hazardous terrain with that one, so not a straight swim for them. They may lose some speed on that side of the course. Here we go, Otter making their way up, and they will be surfacing any second now. They seem to have surfaced a little too early. Yeah, getting caught up in the weeds there. Ooh, that's a confirmed overtake by African penguin. African penguin now in first place. Otter came out of their dive too early, so penguin has taken advantage of that. A whole host of otters and a couple of penguins there coming in not far behind them. And it looks like all of the otters are getting caught up in the weeds there. Penguins there also keeping tightly together. That's a couple of the king ones, and also our front runner, the African penguin. That's them moving on to the second stage where they're going to have to run for a little bit. Then they have the choice of running over the rocks or swimming in the rainforest swamp. Oh no, stuck on the tyre. That's not made for penguins. I think they're making a beeline for the water though. Probably the best option for the penguins is certainly to swim. Oh no, king penguins have got distracted already. Figured that would happen. It's not looking good for them right now. Looking like the otters are back in second place. Just one still out in front though, and the rest of them are a couple of yards behind. Deciding to go over land rather than the water though, which is an interesting choice considering they are very strong swimmers. And our penguin out in front has stopped, looking a little lost there. Can't decide which way to go. Yeah, I think African penguins' luck just ran out. A lot more of the penguins, bears, seals making their way around. And the otters, of course. Whole otter family there. Grey seal in the water. Seems to be poised to take first place now. And this is definitely where these guys are in their element. Yeah, look at that. Look at that dive. Just so quick, so streamlined, leaving poor African penguin in their dust. Well, whatever the water equivalent of that is anyway. 3 of our 4 giant otters have all caught up together, getting very close to approaching stage 3. They are probably pretty much neck and neck with that grey seal. This is going to be a case of who can get out of the water quicker and over the ramp. Now, I'm putting my bets on the otters for this because I can't imagine the grey seal's going to have a great time trying to heave their body up over here. No, prove me wrong. Grey seal takes first place. They've won out over the giant otters on the ramp. So, grey seal first into the ice biome. But they are followed very closely by the first of the otters going through. This race is really getting neck and neck at this point. Grey seal taking the water. And looks like the otters are going over the water at first, but it looks like they're going onto land. They keep stopping to check if the other ones are still following behind them. That's pretty sweet. Penguin is indeed going for the water now. Could be another takeover there. Not many left at the starting arena. Couple of bears. It's always the grizzlies and the polar bears. Polar bear is still sleeping. He's still asleep from the start. Some of the animals have got onto stage 3 and this one is still asleep. Seems to be a bit of a bear blockade going on at the start of the stage 3 ramp. Come on guys, get to it. You don't want to see a penguin win, do you? Ah, there we go. That did the trick. Penguin fell over. Looking a bit embarrassed there. Come on, keep moving. I was only kidding about the penguin thing, you know. That was just to get the bears moving. Honest. Grey seal's going the wrong way, so that is the otters now in first place. And what a leap. Using that agility to dive straight into the water here. Maybe that was the otters' strategy all along. That's 3 of the otters now taking first, second and third place. If they all get through the rest of the course the same way, they're going to win this outright. Although I can see one of our bears coming up the side there going really fast. Again, they've decided to abandon the water approach and are just running. It's changed the positions a bit. We've got grizzly bear coming up on the left side, otters approaching from the right. This is neck and neck as we enter the 4th stage of the race. One of our otters making it out first. Looks like our bear has got stuck on the ramp a little bit there. Oh no, must be a bit slippy in that corner. Come on, that's it, you can do it. Just put your paws on it. There we go. We need to give those otters a bit of competition. And look at that, grizzly bear goes straight through. He's just running through that riverbed. Some of our otters choosing to go over by land again. Wonder if they're going to get distracted. There's a lot of distractions here that the otters like, so it could be that they're running towards the toys. Nope, that's straight past. They're just choosing to run rather than swim. Penguins are approaching the stage 4 gate, and I think this penguin has found a sneaky shortcut. What's going on here? Well, wouldn't you know it? Cheeky penguin. Sneaking round the fence there. Penguins using shortcuts. More bears getting stuck. How are our otters getting on? They're approaching the waterfall, and that might have you thinking, isn't that the end of the race? Well, did you honestly think that would be the end of the race? This is a deep diving race after all, and so far we haven't dived very deep. Well, that's about to change. See this hole here? Yep, that hole. This is the real deep dive challenge, and this is where deep diving really begins. So entering the secret stage of the race, we have 2 of the 4 otters out in front, and they're heading straight for the dive here. They now have to navigate their way through the very deep and the very long underground water tunnel. This is going to be an extremely long swim for these guys. And there's every chance, if there's other animals that are faster swimmers, there's ample opportunity for them to catch up in this stage. Our 2 otters that made it through still well in the lead though, and navigating past the sea mines quite delicately there, because of course I think to put sea mines in a race. Oh, some competition entering the tubes now. That's one of our grey seals. I know the grizzly was close, but that grey seal must have powered through to get ahead of all of those penguins. Well, with a grey seal about and knowing how well they dive in the deep water, I don't think Grizzly's going to keep that lead above it very long. It's gonna be back into 4th place for poor Grizzly there. Yeah, that didn't take long at all. Maybe if the grizzly wasn't so bothered about all these little twirls, maybe they'd be a bit of a quicker swimmer. But no, our grizzlies do like to show off for the camera, so that's going to cost them in the race. Not saying the grey seals are that different. They like to do a bit of dramatics as well when they're swimming, just are a bit quicker about it. Finally, some of our fastest animals have entered the tube, the African penguins. I'm doubtful though that they've got enough time to catch up with the otters now. They took their time on the surface for some reason. Indeed, otters have successfully navigated their way through the deep dive tube, past the sea mines, and are now making their way up to the ascent tube. This is a difficult part of the course where they have to carefully pick where they're gonna surface. This is a long tube and a very narrow surface area to navigate. They could easily get confused or stuck. Nope, but that's a very successful surfacing. Well, for two of our otters. We have lost the third otter somewhere around the course. They never made it into the tunnel with these two, so one of them's got lost somewhere. Oh, I see. They've gone back and had a bit of a doze in the snow biome instead. What else are the slow coaches doing? Finally, one of our sun bears has made an appearance. Haven't seen those little guys around the course much at all. Couple more grizzlies and a polar bear navigating their way to the cold biome. And way down back at stage 2 start, we've got movement on the gharials and some of the saltwater crocodiles finally. Although, looks like they're going the wrong way, so... Back at the front, those two otters have made their way back onto land. This is their approach to the final part of the course, which is a forest lake. Hang on. Why is the lake green and where's the forest gone? This isn't good. Something terrible's happened here. Oh no. There's been an unfortunate accident. Is that radioactive waste? What a terrible accident. Guys, this is not a healthy colour that the water should be. And our animals are going to have to swim through this. Our otter in front is bravely approaching the water. And no hesitation here. Little radiation isn't going to put this little one off. Such determination. Closely followed by the otter in second place. And I think that's going to be the same. Yep, straight in the water. Both working relatively effectively through the green sludge. And nothing in the way of competition as they work their way through this final part of the course. Although the grey seal and the African penguin have surfaced from the tube. So third and fourth are not that far behind. Depends how they themselves tackle that green sludgy water. Think it's another overtake on land? Yep, the African penguin is going significantly faster on land than the grey seal is. Little legs carrying them surprisingly quickly. Nice clean overtake, that's what we like to see. No pushing or shoving, standing on other animals' heads, which does happen occasionally. Let's see how our penguin tackles the water. That's a quick entry. Not much hesitation, although I can imagine they're not quite enjoying this water as much as the other parts of the course. Grey seal seems happy to just be off land again. Next up we've got a couple of penguins, including a king penguin here. Clearly their superior swimming in the deep dive section is getting them ahead. Speaking of, our front runner otters are very close to the end of the lake now, just passing the waste leak, having a little trouble with the fence. Oh, and the seal was caught up. This is neck and neck now. That fence mishap could put the otters behind. Close, but not quite. That's one otter home and free. Don't think our grey seal's going to catch up now. Hey, grizzlies finally made it out of the tube. But they've got a lot of catching up to do now. Potentially top 5 if they make a bit of an effort now. Number 1 otter out of the water and approaching the finish line. Indeed, they are home free. That is, a giant otter Maria is our first animal over the finish line. Well done, Maria. And not far behind that is giant otter Jose. So that's 2 of our giant otters have got first and second place, putting their whole team in a really good position to win this event. Not far behind here, we've got grey seal Destiny coming into the finish line. Oh, and there's a penguin right behind the grey seal here. That's one of the African penguins caught up with the grey seal. Close, but no, that's the third place for our grey seal Destiny. Not far behind is Dawn, our African penguin, and that's the ladies dominating in the scoreboard here. 3 out of the top 4 being female competitors. Next up, we've got our grizzly bear contender with the sludgy water, and is that our penguins doing a bit of cheating again?
Naughty penguins. They've figured out a way to get around the water so they don't even have to go through the sludge. Oh, and here's a turn up for the books. Formosan bear come out of nowhere. Formosan out of the blue, taking over African penguin at the final stage. That's Toby taking 5th place out of Shelby, our African penguin's hands. And that has got to sting, but a good result for the Formosans at least. Don't know how that bear managed to get through the water so quickly. Who knows? Anyway, here we've got the 3rd African penguin Zoom coming in 7th place. And that certainly feels like that's the end of our front runners. Let's speed this up a bit and just look at those coming through the finish line. At number 8, we have Grizzly Bear Sabrina, closely followed by teammate Henry, who's being pursued by 2 of the King Penguins. And as we've had throughout the whole of this race, looks like Team Penguin is doing a little bit of cheating again. Yeah, we see you there, Penguins. What are you up to at the fence? Sneaking under the fence this time? Well, yes, that is very clever of you, but it's not in the spirit of the race. Naughty penguins. At least it's not affected the outcome. There's Henry taking 9th place, and still questioning the validity of our King Penguins here. Abigail and Isabel coming in 10th and 11th. Next is Brutus, our grey seal, who's gone for a thoroughly deep dive in the green sludge. And, well, more penguins that have decided to cheat, so I don't think there's anything we can do about that now. Yep, that's Rocco, our 4th African penguin, coming 12th. Now, that is all of the African penguins complete. That's the whole team through. So, looking like they're going to be at the top of the leaderboard. 13th is Grey Seal Brutus, closely followed by King Penguins Charlie and Jacob in 14th and 15th. Another bit of creative racing going on here with the Formosan. Not sure what their game is here, but they've managed to somehow go over the wall. And I'm wondering if that is how our Formosan from earlier managed to get ahead so quickly. Yep, this one doing the same. It's up to something. So Formosan Tina in 17th place. And we missed Tyson the Grizzly Bear in 16th there. We were paying too much attention to the Formosans. Got our last giant otter finally awake. Managed to get himself around the course. And behind there is our first crocodile. That's the first saltwater croc made its way around into the Green Lake. Aha, so that's what the Formosans have been doing, climbing over the barrier so they don't have to go in the water. Well, can't say I'm not surprised. So there you go, 3rd Formosan is Nacho at number 18. 19 is our 3rd giant otter Catalina. Next up, swimming confidently past the radioactive waste, is the first of our reptiles, and that is our saltwater crocodile, Snappy. So they may not be first, they may not even be in the top 10, but well done Snappy for being the first reptile over the line at number 20. Quite a few more now have made their way through the tunnels, so here we've got a polar bear, that's also our final otter, and another cheaty Formosan deciding to go over the wall. Yep, that's our final Formosan going over the line. That is Dan Dan at number 21. Closely followed by Grey Seal Olivia at 22. And Diego the Giant Otter, the final Giant Otter at 23. And that was a close finish with our first polar bear, Benson, at 24. No, and he's got stage fright. Benson, get over the line. There you go. Don't think you liked how close he got to 23. Never mind. At 25 is a relatively slow grizzly bear, Emily, over the line. Poor bear, she's just exhausted. Next we have another grey seal, Wallace, and that's now all of the grey seals through the post. Closely followed by polar bear Roscoe, and yet another polar bear Spring at 28. Couple of stragglers coming in thick and fast now. Reptile Collective has finally made its way to the final stages, but they're certainly not in any hurry. There's been a long gap waiting for these guys to make it round. Yep, that's Fred, our second saltwater crocodile, making it to the end. That's followed by a number of crocs and gharials, and I think that's a dwarf caiman back here as well. That's the first time we've seen those little guys all race. Clean finish there by our first gharial over the line. That is Felix in at number 30. The others left here are taking far too long in the sludgy lake. I think they're enjoying this a little too much. Come on guys, gotta move on. Finally, our last polar bear is through. That is Kiri at position 31. Saltwater crocodile Fran taking the right P. Come on. Yeah, yes, that's the line. You need to get over it. Yes. Flip's sake. Finally. Wasn't saying you have to go home, but you can't stay here. Just the final few stragglers before we call time. Another Gharial made it to the finish. Ooh, and a Sunbear made it. Yay! I was worried none of them were going to qualify at all. Another new entry, one of our Dwarf Caimans bringing up the back of the line. So close to not qualifying there. Followed by one of the very last Gharials and another Dwarf Caiman coming in last place. Unfortunately, that is it. The rest of our competitors, they just haven't had the willpower to get round the course. They're more interested in having a play in the water. Anyway, let's add up the scores and see which is the champion team. Well, clear leading team here is the African Penguin. So very well done to our super swimmers, the African Penguins. They did also get creative and find themselves some sneaky shortcuts around the course. So, moral victory? Maybe not. Regardless, can we have a round of applause for the African Penguin team and also the other teams that took part today? There certainly has been some memorable moments on the race course today. I've had a heap of fun making this race a reality, and I certainly hope you've had a lot of fun watching it too. If you've really enjoyed it, why not leave a like? And if you're not subscribed, then why not? Seriously, hit that sub button and you'll make my day. That makes going through all of these race scenarios worthwhile. Anyway, that's it for today's Race in Action. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.